February 5.
This is the Idle News Podblast for February 5th, 2009. And Nick Brecken is going to tell us all about Resident Evil 5.
Resident Evil 5.
It's the fifth.
5.
5.
Do they do that at the introduction screen?
They do.
We
Nice.
talked about this.
Confirmed.
Yeah, we did. Double confirmed.
And that's the end.
See you guys next week.
No, yeah.
So I hear
Resident
an
Evil 5.
embargo lifted.
Embargo has been lifted. And, really wanted to like this game. Don't like it so much.
Ouch.
Yeah. I don't know. I went into it kind of thinking, all right.
What have you played?
I have played the first 3 chapters, which, probably is roughly about half the game.
Okay.
Maybe a little bit less. I'm not really sure.
Only 6 chapters in this
Resident
one?
Evil 4. Resident Evil 4 was, 5 chapters, but it sort of got longer. Each chapter got longer as it went along, so I'm guessing it's about half, maybe a little bit less. But, they took a lot of elements from 4. The problem being the elements that they took are so directly copied. There are bosses in this game that are basically Resident Evil 4 bosses, and yet the fights are worse. And I don't know how else to say it other than that. It's like, all right... the giant dude who chases you around, who's really memorable in Resident Evil 4. He's the giant dude. He's like the monster dude.
So he's a dude.
He's a dude.
We established that.
He's a giant monster dude.
All right.
You mean one of the early bosses?
Yeah, and he sort of follows you throughout the level.
Troll guys,
it was built up to this great fight. In Resident Evil 5, you see that guy again, except this time...
Is he actually the same guy?
Same guy? He's back?
It's the exact same guy, more or less. I think his hair is different.
Okay.
Literally, I think his hair is like the only thing that changed.
All right, okay.
And this time the fight is you're on the back of a Jeep with a turret, and you point at the guy and hold the turret down, and that's the fight.
Awesome.
Yeah.
5.
Most of the bosses prior to that fight are, for instance, the chainsaw guy who was in the demo, which is directly out of 4.
Yeah.
But in that, you're in a plane buzzing in from the air.
It's like that scene from the North
I was going to say
Northwest.
you're shooting him from a webcam.
What? Microsoft's answer to the Wii remote.
I hate to sort of just, start out with just directly comparing boss fights. It seems kind of strange, but it's kind of indicative of my criticism.
Well, if that's what they did.
It is literally what they did. It has elements of 4, which, as a fan of 4, I'm on the surface, I'm happy about. But when you start playing the game and you get into it a little bit, it's really kind of disappointing. And I'm not playing it in co-op, so I should say that up front. So I might be missing sort of...
So you've just got the AI buddy.
Which, really the AI is not that bad. I'll sort of maybe get to that very quickly at the end of this. But in terms of straight design, it follows a similar structure. You start out the game, you're not really sure what's going on, and then all of a sudden there's a bunch of zombies and stuff. But it's just... I guess the easiest way I can say it is there were so many memorable moments in Resident Evil 4, you would go into that like you were running through the woods, and then you hit that shack, and then there's that great moment where the zombies are sort of invading and you're blocking windows and stuff. There are none of those moments in 5. Almost all of the set pieces are very Gears of War-esque. I say that just, as a fan of Gears of War, it's just not at all what I want in Resident Evil. I'll give a couple examples. There are a couple major moments where it almost inevitably turns into just turret sequences. You're always on a turret in this game. I don't know why. There's this whole part where you're just on the back of a Jeep shooting at zombies who are riding motorcycles.
Wow.
That sounds fucking awesome.
Weird.
There are whole sequences of this game where, there are zombies on turrets shooting at you with guns.
What?
And you have to shoot at them on your turret.
What? That's cannon fodder?
Prior to the game coming out, there were, being completed, there were all these previews that mentioned the fact that, now there's going to be a cover system, and people were like, why would you need a cover system? Well, it turns out the only time you really do need a cover system is when there are other zombies using turrets. Literally, the only time. And I don't know. It seems to me like Capcom played Gears of War and said, we need more of that in this game. And that's what we got. There is not a single stage.
The dude on steroids.
There is not a single. There's not a single stage in this game that is set in the dark. To the point that I've played, it may get darker. Who knows? But I've played a big chunk of this game. There's nothing in the dark other than maybe like one cave sequence that's not at all scary. It's actually pretty annoying. One player, this is their idea of co-op gameplay. One player has to hold a lantern and follow the other player around and sort of
Crystal Chronicles.
Yeah,
You got the bucket.
It's kind of really disappointing. I mean, I don't know what else to say about it. Like, it's at times it's still the same old Resident Evil 4. You've got your guns and all the guns are the same to the point
Is
that
the
I
what
played.
are you buying guy in it?
I actually
Will he buy it for a high price?
I can't talk about that. As silly as that is, that was a specific line in the embargo. Cannot mention anything about any of that.
Confirmed.
It's absolutely ridiculous.
Presumably, they wouldn't have had you not mention him if he was not in the game.
So like,
I'm not,
are you
I'm
also
not saying anything,
like
Chris?
So like anything potentially meme worthy
Wink at-
about the
wink
series
at me,
not
the
discussed?
readers won't know.
Yeah. So like,
I
do
guess
dogs
I can
jump
say-
from windows?
I can say that between missions, there is a screen that you can organize your inventory.
Okay, can't you do that anytime?
Yeah, but I'm just saying, it's you can do that between missions.
Also,
I'm winking, I guess.
okay,
I don't know.
fine.
Yeah, whatever. Anyway,
A
moving
mission
on.
screen might buy something for a high price. Stranger.
Yeah. But really, no. I mean, I don't want to just focus on superficial things because it's a big game. People are anticipating it. As a fan of 4, I was 4. I was strangely disappointed. I mean,
In 5.
it doesn't have the atmosphere that the 4 had, and that's a silly word, so I guess I'll elaborate.
That's fair though.
It just
4 had fucking atmosphere.
4, you walk into that game and it was just like you're in these woods and it's just fucking gritty and I loved that, the setting of that game. It just hits you right off the bat. 5, you walk in and it's this generic kind of plastic looking Africa. I don't after
Plastic
playing Far Cry
Africa
2
is my band.
Far Cry 2, yeah!
after playing Far Cry 2, which doesn't, it's just, that game just,
That is Africa.
that is
right there.
that's fucking great.
So why didn't they just set this in Far Cry 2?
I don't know. They should have.
Disclaimer,
They probably should
Capcom
have.
should not have done that.
Yeah. But
No, but I know what you mean, though.
If I'm gonna sum up Resident Evil 5,
5.
so far, 3
So
chapters
far.
in,
3
seven hours, 8 hours, I don't know. Unimaginative is the word I'm gonna use. It's really crushing.
That's too bad.
I didn't play it in co-op. The AI on the co-op chick is actually pretty decent. It is pretty obnoxious that she can get in trouble. So you can run ahead and she'll just sort of wander off.
It's the ultimate Tails in Sonic 2.
Yeah, it's got
Why is he stepping on the mine in the bonus
exactly.
stage?
Yeah. No, it's most of the time though you don't have to worry about her. You can play it like you would just any other single player game.
Like she's not even there.
Pretty much.
Do you have to revive her when she dies?
Oh, that's the other thing I wanted to touch on. Yeah, you do. I mean, you get into this dying mode. I don't if you play the demo.
Is it like
I did
with
play the demo,
tap?
yeah, right.
The best.
No, you just push a button.
Oh.
And this is the
It's
other
the
thing
one
that-
time that you'd want to be able to hit the A over and over again to get her heart going again.
There's another
and then
thing
press
about
it to breathe.
the quick time events in this stupid fucking game are just
Wow.
yeah. No, I have look. I mean, in 4 I dealt with it because 4 was amazing and it was done more or less to a minimum. In this game, it is just ridiculous. You're in a boat and there's
Paddle.
in 4 you were dodging things like crazy bosses and shit, and there's a little of that here, but you're in a boat and somebody else is driving and it says look out, and then you hit X and you duck, and then you do that again and you duck this thing that like a bar, that's like the exciting quick time event. Your guy just goes like, and I'm ducking.
Okay, he just made a physical motion. That's not helpful at all.
Yeah, I know.
If you were playing the Wii, you might have ducked.
But I did the resurrection thing. It takes away a lot of the tension, because just playing, alone, or especially when you're going to play in co-op, your dude can basically stand next to you and, in 4, when there was a chainsaw guy coming at you, and you were limping, you were pretty much screwed, right?
Yeah.
In this game, the chainsaw guy comes up to you, and they put a delay on him now, where he'll stand there for about 2 seconds before he attacks. Yeah, no, he'll run up to you at full speed and then stop, and then attack you,
flip you off, and then
yeah, right, like. If
he does a jerk off motion with his mouth.
With his mouth. Jake just made a motion with
you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
With your tongue as like the
peenies.
Anyway.
But it's just so easy to not die in this game. And I guess it's the Prince of Persia effect. I mean, the easier,
that's the thing.
and it's a survival.
That's why survival horror games are good. It's because you're fucking limping around,
right?
Like with
you're
a one
scared
bar
of dying, right?
Yeah.
I am not scared of dying at all in this game. The
So
AI
they're
chick is so good at reviving you. I mean, like, it'd be one thing if you're co-op guy and you were sort of like hacking it, you know what I mean? Like standing next to each other on purpose. Like, but the AI chick does it so often.
Left 4 Dead is a co-op game where you can die, and it does fucking suck to die in that game, even though it's not the end of the
Also,
world.
it takes forever to revive someone.
That's what I mean.
And you can get raped while that happens.
In this game,
the penalty for being knocked down and the penalty for dying is strong enough that even though it is a co-op game and you can get revived, it's meaningful. Like that, it's too bad.
So basically, what you're saying happened is they looked at God of War, Gears of War, and Prince of Persia, and said, "I see what American gamers like: muscles, cover systems, quick time events, and not dying.
Games that aren't in the dark as well,
and games that are bright.
Yeah, they're afraid of the dark.
Yeah.
Honestly, I usually wouldn't simplify it to that point, but I really do think they looked at games like that and went, okay, we need some of this stuff. And it doesn't work.
When they make Resident Evil 6,
they
will look at Left 4 Dead.
Left 6.
There's a 4 in there. Come on. Okay, there you go. Thanks. Jesus. Or Left 4 Dead 2.
2.
With Joe Pesci.
Featuring Joe Pesci. Left 4 Dead TOO.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyway.
It's an escort mission. It's fucking horrible.
Come on, guys. I'm your buddy. Come on.
Swing over those zombies.
Look at this. What's over in this door? Hey, guys.
What pipe bomb.
Guns here. Come on, guys.
Didn't you see them? You just walk past the guns.
They're right here. Come on. Oh, you're killing me, guys. You're killing me.
And then you kill him.
And then you fucking kill him. What are you doing? Stop it. That's me. I'm your buddy. Stop it. Stop.
Out of medkits and pills, Joe Pesci.
Anyway, what are we talking about?
We're talking about Resident Evil 5 with Joe Pesci.
Oh, yeah, with Joe Pesci. Special guest star.
It's weird if you plug in a third controller.
Yeah. It's too bad because it's funny. I had the opposite sort of excitement curve for this game where I was extremely skeptical early on based on everything they were showing because it was super racist. No, just because of just for whatever reason, like the idea of another player in there just sort of really suggested to me this is not going to be as tense and just not, I don't know, it just didn't seem. And then I played the demo and I actually really liked it.
Well, there are moments. I will say there are some moments of tension, obviously, but most of the time it's not because it's
romantic tension because there's two players.
Yeah, you're wondering if she kind of likes you.
Yeah, it's like the hold hands button. Like when
death is spray some shit on her face with
what? Oh, the spray.
The music swells and then
what are you doing? It's in my eye.
Oh, you got it in my eye.
I feel so much better now.
Oh, what did you do? Wow. What did you do?
You can pick up the rare love potion as the new third spray. The pink
love potion number 9.
Fuck you.
Oh my god, I'm hilarious.
Yeah. But so you liked the demo.
I did, but I
did
the
too.
Things
mostly.
you. Oh, okay. Well,
but it's just to me, it just doesn't feel like it just doesn't have the design of 4. I mean,
what was unfortunate too?
The pieces, but not the soul.
the just the fact that when you talk about this game, you can say stuff like, that one boss from 4 or the chainsaw guy. Yeah. The fact that it's a given that those things are in the game, like the whole reason I shat my fucking pants when I first saw the chainsaw guy in 4. Like people treated that
like, holy shit.
Yeah. People treated that as a spoiler on forums, and it wasn't even a plot point. It was
that's why I say unimaginative.
That guy shows up and you're
it's like you guys know that one moment, and everyone's like, oh, I fucking know what you're talking about. Jesus Christ!
And it's when chainsaw
like the first time you see your own head severed off, and you're like, what just happened?
Yeah.
I have to play that again. I have to try to fucking kill that guy. What?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I mean, by the time that game's over, you've fought that guy like many times.
Right.
It's like I don't know if that's still gonna. Well, in fact, I know it's not because when I reached that guy in the demo,
Right, like,
every single boss encounter.
Like this is a stupid bullshit thing, but like it's like in Bad Dudes on the NES when you the bosses in that game are fucking hardcore when you first see them because it's this huge guy that's twice as big as any other guy. But then when you get to level 3, that guy just starts showing up with palette swaps.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like
sad.
a lot of games do so. I mean, like Zelda on the DS. It's like, oh, I guess I'm going back to this time dungeon again.
Right.
Yeah.
Huh.
But I mean, like when that guy who's just amazing the first time you see him is now just like a dude that spawns in the demo of the sequel. It's like,
right.
Oh,
it's not just bosses either. The zombies more or less. They're the zombies with the shields, and they're the zombies that
Yeah, but these zombies have turrets.
Well, right, yeah, and it's weird. They treat them like Gears of War AI characters do. Like if one zombie dies on the turret, the other one like rushes over to take up the turret.
So how are they even zombies? How are they not just dudes?
Maybe
this
it's
game
a different
is
virus,
the
Chris.
racist
They're different
game.
types of.
Maybe this really is.
Well,
You're just killing Africans.
You know what's
They're not
weird?
even zombies.
You know what's weird? I had that thought, and this is good. I'm gonna get shit on. But like, because there's no scene that's in the dark, it's not even remotely creepy. Other than the fact that they're like black zombies, and I'm playing this game, and I'm like, is this what they thought? Like, am I supposed to be creeped out by black dudes on turrets?
Oh man!
I'm gonna get shit on for this, but like, that's
is 5 by the same sort of like lead guy from 4? Because I don't
it's not
because the guy did 4 and then he did
God Hand,
right?
Yeah.
Which is also fucking cool. And then he left along with the Clover guys,
right?
Yeah.
I don't know if that means anything, but it's
clearly it means they didn't have someone who.
I mean, it feels like 4 reinvented it, and then they just did to 5 what they did with Resident Evil's pre-4, which is
2,
just
3,
you know what?
2 and 3.
Poop on it.
Just like,
it's a pretty good analogy.
Like, we got this sweet formula that everyone liked. It's super fresh. Now go.
And see,
churn them.
Yeah, it's like I feel really stupid for sort of, like before I played the game, I was like, man, all I want is Resident Evil 4, but on the 360 with, some new content.
Yeah.
And now that's sort of what they gave me, but
it turns out you were wrong.
Yeah, I was totally wrong.
Man,
well, I didn't expect that there would be like giant alligators.
Maybe they'll put
how the fuck would I know?
3 extra guns in this one.
Yeah. There aren't any extra guns. They're all the same fucking guns. That's
what they forgot. If it was the same game with better graphics and more guns,
you know what, Jake? I probably would be on this podcast right now being like, man, it's so sweet. You get this fucking,
it's got a machine gun.
Gauss rifle. I mean, it was going to be shitty, but now you can use this rifle. No, there's no fucking Gauss rifle. There's no big machine.
There's no
it's the
rail
same
gun.
Fucking machine gun. It holds the same
rocket
launcher.
gun.
They didn't even like
gravity gun.
There's a rocket.
That would change up the game.
Wait, there was a rocket launcher in Resident Evil 4.
I need a hook shot. Give me a fucking, god damn it.
But this one's like the UT one where you can queue up 6.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
It's Resident Evil as sponsored by Mr. Pants Overkill or whatever.
Right. Yeah. That's too bad. That's unfortunate.
The level design, it's,
I'm fairly convinced by the things you're saying because they sound like it's this is like the Usual Suspects moment for me where I'm like thinking back to the little bits of trailers I've seen and being like, oh man,
yeah,
all the things he's describing, it's all coming together.
Yep.
His coffee cup is shattering.
It's just, it blew me away how many times I was in a level and I was like, oh, this is that part from 4, but
but not as good.
Not as good and kind of
brighter
pointless.
and in a Jeep.
Yeah. Even the story, and to critique a story in a Resident Evil game is obviously.
Well, see, actually, I wanted to say something about the story because I criticized the story in a lot of shooters earlier in this in Tuesday's podcast or Wednesday, whatever the hell fucking day we
in the podcast. This is Idle News Podblast.
Yeah, sorry, this is the Idle News Podblast.
We're blasting the pod.
Blast that pod.
I will say, Resident Evil 4. The story in that game is as or more retarded than the story in all those games.
Yeah.
But the setting and the feeling of it is so effective. Like,
yeah. What's funny about it though? It's like I was thinking the characters in that game were not. They were pretty well defined. Like Lewis, as stupid as a character as he was. By the end of the game, I was like, oh, it's fucking Lewis. Hey, he's back. All right, sweet. And like, I was like, oh, that fucking little girl, fuck her. But, I kind of like appreciated that they were stupid. But this game, okay, I'll be spoiling somebody for 4 for sure. But, the little dude, the little
the tiny man.
The tiny man who's like, Yeah, that guy.
What the fucking leprechaun?
Joe Pesci.
Yeah, yes, the white Joe Pesci. White Joe Pesci.
White Joe Pesci. Joe Pesci is Hispanic.
Yeah. Anyway, there's a guy in 5 who's more or less that guy but taller. It's like he grew up.
This game is bigger and better in every way.
So the classic small guy is now a regular guy.
He's like 2 feet taller.
He's like the biggest dwarf in the world.
Yeah. And the other thing is, it's got a self-referential storyline.
Fucking
it's
intolerant.
It's one of those stupid Japanese self-referential storylines where it's.
I feel like I'm in a Resident Evil.
Well, it brings back characters from previous games, and it's got all that.
They all do
is there
that.
a applause?
Shit. 4 had all that.
Do
shit
they leap
too.
in through a window?
It had shit, but it wasn't. It had.
You hear the little tap on the glass, and then just.
A dude opens the window and crawls in.
Hey guys,
hey, what's up? it's me, your pal the zombie. How's it going?
Crawls in. Did somebody say
zombie? We've got to hide from the. Don't let the zombies get you.
Yeah.
Ding ding ding. Hey! Did somebody say zombie?
Press A to hide under the
zombie.
Hey! It's like Kramer sliding.
Yeah, Cheers.
Anyway, sorry, you were making an actual point. This is what readers hate.
Yeah, sorry.
Whatever. No, I mean, it's stupid. And the thing I liked about 4 was that stuff didn't really hit until the end of the game. Whereas the story in this game, I really am not following. Like, it's just sort of incoherent and kind of just, I don't know,
Yep.
It just falls apart instantly. And then they're just like, oh, here's a character from another game.
Then you
and
escape on the rush coil.
Yeah, yeah. Like you're driving around on your stupid boat. I don't know.
Yeah, but I do just about the story. I do want to sort of elaborate on that a bit because I do think that you can get away with having an incredibly worthless story if you make the stuff surrounding the story really cool. Like the original Half-Life game, the story in that game is nothing.
It's kind of the story from Doom.
Exactly. Yes. It is Doom. It's the same story as Doom, but like it's okay because it's wrapped in this like amazing, awesome atmosphere and presentation, and like it just I always felt like really engaged with it.
Yeah.
Whereas when I play a lot of the some of the other shooters I've mentioned, like the stories in those games, it is just like bros in a war, and it's like right. I mean the setting is just like dusty battlefields. Like that's fine, but I mean it's certainly not like interesting. Whereas Resident Evil 4, the story was idiotic. I mean, I couldn't tell you the plot of that game if my life depended on it. But it's okay. I was in I guess
saving
Spain.
the president's daughter.
I was in exactly.
It's pretty bad.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like
it's also like Time Crisis, is that?
Probably.
Yeah. But you're in this place and it's like, Jesus, this is like some creepy shit going on. Like I'm in this dark forest. I'm going through. There are these crazy dudes. It's not entirely clear at first if they're weird cultists or if they're actual zombies or what. Like,
and that some of them explode. Of course, the beginning
of
this game is the exact same deal, but you're in a brightly lit like African market. And for me, I don't know. There's
people are trying to sell you stuff, and you just blow them away.
Well, it's like
and you know what? I hate to go back to the racist thing, but when you watch I know, but when you watch that trailer, and it's just shots of this like brightly lit market, and then there's like all these like scary looking black people. That there is no other element of horror in this game other than the fact that
they're out to kill you.
I don't know. It to me, it's just very. If they had just put, I don't know, if they had dropped the brightness by about 20 shades.
I'm saying in a general sense, like it's just like the sort of nature of weird, creepy, zombified dudes is kind of at odds with being in just sort of like a brightly lit location. Like there's some dissonance there that doesn't entirely gel. If I'm supposed to be scared of this, why don't you go the whole 9 yards here and make me scared of it?
Yeah.
Instead of just sort of acting on the assumption that
I can imagine a much more ravaged
zombie
Africa than they showed, than they designed here.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't know. You end up in like an oil refinery, and even at that point,
there's probably some chains dangling.
Yeah. I mean, it's
crates.
There are a lot of crates, a lot of doors with locks on them that you have to kick. I don't know. It's such a fucking bullshit thing.
Well, thanks for listening to the Idle News Podblast.
Yeah.
Resident Evil 5.
Thanks. We might do some of these from time to time.
Yeah.
When there are embargoes that are beyond the reach of our regular podcast.
Or breaking news.
Probably we won't do it for this.
Oh, yeah.
No.
Just in case.
We won't probably do the news blast
there won't be
like
any,
when there's news.
In the news blast.
Yeah.
Although, I don't know why we're calling it a pod blast, but
It's to your
I think it's so
fucking
amazingly
blasting
retarded
it.
that when companies send you a huge email, it's called an email blast.
Yeah.
Which always cracks me up when,
Yeah.
face.
when people.
It's a media
It's
blast.
like a shotgun blast.
We gotta send out an email blast.
Yeah.
A what?
We're gonna blast.
Explosive. I just always picture explosive diarrhea when someone says that. So this is a pod blast. We're blasting a pod into your face explosively.
Nice.
Get ready for that.
Yeah, be ready, please.
5.
5. All right, we'll see you guys in a few days.
Yep. That's the most you've ever said about anything. I'm so happy. Yeah. You talked. It was loud. You made a point. This is the Idle News Pod Blast.
This is a blast.
Sorry, it's
Blast.
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 Welcome to the blast. The blast zone. You're in the blast zone.
Wake up!
Jesus Christ.
Stop. All right. So I'm just going to say this is the Idle News.
It's the Idle News Pod Blast.
Yeah.
February 5. That wasn't good.
It wasn't bad either, though.
It was not bad.
You guys exploded afterwards.
It's fucking hilarious.
It's pretty good.
That was a really... Okay, go ahead.
February 5. February 5. February 5. February 5. February 5.
It's like the same.
Oh, I definitely was longer that time for sure. All right, I'll.
Yeah.
All right, okay, all right.